Hey Georgia,
Hi, thank you for having me today.
how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. In this crazy world that we're living in, all is well.
I know, yeah. How's are you in Bedford or Kempston?
Yeah, I'm Bedford. Well, Bedford, Kempston. So the studio is based in Kempston, but yeah, I live in Bedford.
Awesome, right. So I want to get straight into this. So you graduated in 2014.
Yeah, I
Uh,
know that feels like a lifetime ago now.
so
God.
what have you done since then? Then?
So I graduated from the University of Bedfordshire. I studied dance and professional practice. The aim was to become a dance teacher in secondary schools. So I always loved dancing when I was sort of throughout school, and I always looked up to some of my teachers. And I was like, actually, do you know what? As much as I love dancing, I actually love seeing other people improve, and I love being able to help somebody in that process as well. So I was like, actually, I think I'd like to go into teaching. So in my last year of school, I actually managed to get a scholarship for university. So I actually didn't have to pay for any of my fees, which was amazing.
Wow.
Along with it saved me a lot of money. Along with a couple of other scholarships along the way. So it was really difficult because it was almost toying with the fact of, do I stay at home and kind of go to Bedford where I've got all this support financially, or do I kind of spread my wings and go further afield? But the fact I stayed at home meant that I could then sort of branch out. I got loads of teaching experience while I was at uni. And then in my third year of uni, I did my first fitness qualification. Because I knew I wanted to be a teacher. They'd just withdrawn all the teacher training funding. So it was the year that the GTP got removed, which is the Graduate Teachers Programme. So before I did it, you used to be able to get paid between 16 and 18,000 to train to be a teacher. And then they withdrew all the funding from the arts, PE, basically any of the kind of nice subjects, and it was just purely maths, English and science that were paid and funded. So then I was like, oh my goodness, how am I going to get through another year, 9 grand for the fees to be a teacher and still live? Like, how am I even going to be able to afford? There was no funding, like you couldn't get grants or anything like that. So basically I trained to be an aerobics instructor, and I just literally set up 2 classes in some of the schools that I was working in, just in the village halls. That started just to sort of tick over nicely. I had sort of like 10 to 15 people come in, 15 turned into 20, then 25, then 30. And I remember my first class where I actually stood there and just quickly went round. It was like 5, 10, because that's how much I charged, £5 a person. 5, 10, 15, 20. And I was like, I'm actually earning more in this class than they're willing to pay me to be a teacher. So basically, when I graduated from my teacher training, I actually turned down 3 jobs and was like, actually, I'm okay. I'm going to go and be a PT. And everyone was like, what? You spent the last 4 years like training to be this dance teacher. What do you mean you're going to go and do something else now? You're going to go and pay to do more? I was like, yeah, because you're sitting there and offering me a figure that I can earn way more than, just if I put my mind to it a little bit more. And teaching, I take my hat off to everybody, especially right now. The teachers out there right now are doing amazing jobs, looking after the key worker children and providing such a vital service at times like this. But they are massively undervalued and massively underpaid. And I just felt like my whole career I was jumping through hoops to provide, trying to prove how I was teaching kids science through dance. Like, I'm not at the end of the day. So cut a very long story short, I then went on to do my PT qualification. And then with my PT qualification, it just literally just tumbled from there. I think, the key to having a successful business in the fitness industry is being genuine. I didn't pretend to be anything I wasn't. I was an ex-dancer, so I loved that feeling of being, in a lot of pain and kind of not knowing if you can carry on, and working on my cardio conditioning and stuff like that. So that very quickly sort of propelled into my client base. I had a really good sort of like women's based client base. I think a lot of people related to the fact that I was a normal person as well. I wasn't sitting there with sort of like a rippling six pack or anything like that. It was genuine that I just enjoyed fitness, and it just gave me a really good balanced lifestyle. So then I worked in another gym for 2 years. And then sort of a year in, I was like, actually, I can do this. Like, I can do this myself. And it was always my dream to sort of have a space where I could teach classes because a lot of places out there now, like, classes are just on the side. Like, you join a gym, and we do classes. I wanted it the other way around. We do loads of classes.
Right.
You come to like 5, 6 classes a week in terms of your membership. And then if you fancy a bit of anything else, then it's there as well. So yeah, and then in September 2017, the studio was born. It was an absolute hellhole when we went through it, and we kind of signed the lease and sorted everything else out. And then we spent 6 weeks literally transforming it. And now it is what it is today. And then 3 years later, we've got a nice little cushy business that kind of, well, I say cushy, it's definitely not easy and cushy, but yeah, it's kind of, we've worked really hard in the last 3 years to sort of break down all the barriers and the I think like the perceived expectations of the fact that a gym's got to have 25 treadmills in it. You know, a few people have been like, it's not going to work. Like, watch, it's not going to work. And 3 years later, we've got over 200 members. I'm fingers crossed that we can say that we've survived the greatest recession as well, sort of when we come out the other side of this COVID malarkey. And yeah, we're still living to tell the tale. So that's my story in a nutshell.
Wow, that's incredible. So what sort of like services and stuff do you do at Studio 281? Is it just personal training stuff or?
No, so what we offer, our general membership base is an unlimited class service. So you've got everything from indoor cycling to kettlebells. We do sort of like yoga, Pilates, cardio sort of style classes. But then what we've also done is we've transformed the norm, and we've then created like our own concept classes. So we have a class called Lift, which is with sort of like smaller studio style barbells, and then those barbells help the clients to understand sort of like the basics around lifting. And then we have another class called Move, which is almost taken a little bit from that CrossFit base, where it's kind of like conditioning, cardio training, assault bikes, plyometric training, dumbbell work as well. So the classes give everybody the confidence and the understanding that then they can take their training further. And then we offer PTs, group training sessions as well, on the side of that. But yeah, our business as Studio 281 is kind of all the classes. And then we have about 10 other sort of like businesses that run out of us. So we have like therapists, we have aesthetic services, beauty therapy, sports therapy, massage, all that sort of stuff as well. So yeah, it's a real well-being and health centre service, really.
Yeah, it sounds like from what you said, it's sort of like a sort of 360 service. So it's like a one-stop shop for pretty much all your needs.
Absolutely. So we get people that kind of come to us and maybe they go and see somebody for a massage 10 minutes that way, and then they go and see someone for their nails 30 minutes that way. They do their classes this way. And we've kind of brought that all into one. So a lot of our associated businesses, you know, provide a service for our members. And it works kind of vice versa, really. So yeah, it's really good. It was kind of quite a scary dream to begin with, because nobody in this country really offers that apart from your big leisure centres like your David Lloyd's and stuff. But in America, this is how they do it. So it's all about sort of like pop-up wellbeing centres, and people join that service, and then that's where they get their one-stop shop for everything, really. Yeah, and it's proving to work. Like, we've had some really successful businesses that are working with us, and some successful businesses that started with us and have obviously continued to grow. So yeah, it's been really, really successful so far. I just hope it may continue.
Yeah, no. So you said just now that they sort of have these sort of things in America. Is that where the inspiration for 281 came from, or did it come from your own head, or where was the idea?
No, I think the inspiration for it came from the fact that growing up and being a dancer, I always looked for somewhere to train, and I never felt comfortable anywhere. Like, I'd go to your big boy bodybuilding gyms and I'd be like, I don't fit in here. Like, yeah. I'm not going to do my post-workout stretches here with all these muscle men looking around. Like, it's not comfortable like that. Then you'd go to sort of your leisure centres and you'd be like, I don't fit in here either, because I'm surrounded by sorry, I'm being really stereotypical here. No. Then you know, your 60 to 70-year-old average people in the daytime that are looking at you like, Jesus, you're working hard, like, don't give yourself a heart attack. So I found that there was this kind of real like gym element that I just didn't fit into, and I just felt like I was working in village halls, I was working in school like halls, providing these classes, and all these ladies were feeling the same. And I was like, if I was to find somewhere where we could just have one thing, would it work? And like, you know, it was a massive risk. I only had potentially a client base of sort of 35 to 40 people when we opened the doors. I remember like opening my laptop on like week 2 and being like, yep, we've only got 30 members. It's not going to pay the bills. Yeah. But you know, that 30 people turns into 60 people, and it was a slow process, but you've got to be willing to kind of put that out there, and you've got to be willing to trust the process, because you're not going to just wake up one day, have this idea, plow loads of money into it, and then the next day you wake up, it's kind of all successful. It takes time, and you've created something, because our service was so different, you've created something that you're asking people to trust. So they've got to kind of watch for a little bit and be like, is that what I need? Is it not what I need? So yeah, I'd kind of say sort of like between the 2 year and 3 year point has been where people are like, yeah, I get it now. Because it is just a completely different concept to what we do in this country. We don't work like that.
Yeah. So how would you get like clients in? Because you said it's like a long process. Was it like, did you go out flyering? Not that, I don't know. Is that the process? I'm a
Yeah,
complete
it's a
novice.
really good point. So when I was in the community and teaching classes in village halls, and I was PTing from another gym, I was paying rent to be somewhere, and I was sort of, working as my PTs that train with us work now. I was massive on marketing. I was like, if I've got 5 people in my room, I want 20 people in my room. Like, it was
Okay.
always like, you can always go for more. So yeah, back in the day, like obviously it's been like 6-7 years now, but back in the day, like there was no such thing as social media ads and things like that. So yeah, flyers, word of mouth, recommend a friend, bring a friend for free classes, and very quickly things started to grow. And then after I sort of had that, my general social media following sort of expanded quite quickly as well, because people obviously wanted to see what you were up to. And I think, social media is an absolute minefield. We could probably do a whole podcast just on that itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think what I've been really passionate about is keeping my message really authentic. So we're not sitting there and saying, come and join us, and in 6 weeks you're going to lose 12 pounds. Like that's not authentic. Like, people want to see the fact that there's real people training hard. The fact is that it might have taken them a year to lose 12 pounds, but they've absolutely loved every minute of it. So we do a lot of video marketing now. We do a lot of social media sort of campaigning. We don't do a lot of paid adverts. I don't want people to start thinking that we spend sort of like thousands on that. But our content on social media is really sort of engaging, and we kind of look to give the clients the sorts of imagery that they want to see rather than what they expect to see. So you want to see women of all shapes and sizes. You want to see men in there. You want to see women of all different ages, the different styles of classes that they do. Because we all know that we can see like a new gym can pop up, and they'll put up like a Shutterstock image of just like some really lean girls with big long ponytails and a muscle man, and it's like, oh, okay, it's a gym. So that's not, you're not going to stand out from the crowd if you just follow everybody. So we took it the complete opposite way, and we were like, actually, we want to photograph and showcase our members, because that's what that person is buying, isn't it? That's the experience. So yeah, so video marketing is massive, being really truthful, and actually putting our members at the heart of everything we do. Because if you can get somebody to say, actually, it's really good there, I really enjoy it, that other person that they're really good friends with is probably going to come and join. And that's how it's grown, really. It's genuine growth rather than sort of paid growth.
Yeah. So it sounds like from what I've picked up from there, is like it's just you being you, and you being authentic, and you being like, this is me. No, there's no like filter. There's nothing like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, although it's my studio and obviously it's my business, and the whole thing started from just me, that sort of is very, that's very transparent, and it's very seeable in everybody else that wears the brand and like sort of wears the logo and works with us now. I always say works with us, because no one works for me. They're all self-employed. They all have their own businesses in their own right, but the studio umbrella just supports them and gives them that propelled focus for their business going forward. But yeah, absolutely, it's authentic. Like, my own social media is always authentic. My own thoughts, viewpoints, good days, bad days is always authentic. And I think if people can see that that's where the driving force of a business is going to come from, then they kind of understand that actually then that means that the business is actually authentic as well. Like, you're not just paying someone to sit on a spin bike that doesn't actually want to be there. They're just being paid to be there. Actually, everybody has the same sort of thought process as well as when we go through. Yeah, definitely. Authenticity, I think, is key, because you can't copy, can you? If you copy something, it's never going to be as good as the original one. So it had to come from somewhere different, because there's hundreds of gyms. Like, how are we going to be successful in a tiny place like Bedford that's got more gyms than doctor's surgeries, I think. Yeah, so yeah, just literally being myself and kind of following the dream. And I always thought, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. At least I've given it a go. But yeah, 3 years and counting, so not too bad.
So do you think like being authentic and being like yourself is a really important thing to running a business, or do you think that you need to have like certain other qualities to run and own a successful business?
I think running a business is really personal. So I think, yeah, authenticity is massive. I mean, let's just take this as an example. You and I let's just say we're both going to open a sweet shop, for example. Let's just take it completely away from what either of us do.
Yeah.
So we're both going to open a sweet shop. The aim is to make money at the end of the day. well, how you approach that and how I approach that are going to be very different, aren't they? Because our business mentalities are different. Let's just say, for example, you go to bed every night knowing that when you wake up the next morning, you've got a plan, you've got drive, you've got ideas, you've got passion. And I'm just waking up and I'm just going to try the sweets, tell my friends that to buy my sweets and just see what happens. It's not probably going to work. You're probably going to be a lot more successful because you're driven. So I think drive, passion, you know, resilience, because there is 20 times more hard days than good days. And understanding that that end goal isn't just where you want to get to. Like when I first opened the studio, it was really difficult because I had a bit of a downer. It was almost like that, like post-wedding blues that people talk about, because I was so ecstatic that I'd got there. But then I was like, I'm here. What now? And actually, 3 or 4 months in, I was like, no, this is just the beginning. Like, yes, getting the studio was like a massive thing, but then 3 or 4 months in, you realize actually the hard work hasn't even began yet. Like your bills are coming in and your membership isn't even covering your bills. I wasn't getting paid for the first sort of like 12 to 18 months. Even money that I got from PTs, which had gone through the roof, was going into the studio pot to pay for the bills, because all of a sudden you've got aircon bills that you've never ever had to pay for before. So I think it's really having a really true connection with why you want to do what you want to do. You know, I think if any of the people that are listening are sort of into business, your why is so important, because it's why you get out of bed every day and it's why you wanted to do that in the first place. So when things get tough, having a real strong connection with that why. For me, I never ever wanted to work for anyone ever. Like, so for me, it was like, you make it work or you're going to have to go and do what you've never wanted to do. So, you know, even on the days where I've maybe had to look at the banks and gone, actually, I can't pay myself this month, or actually I need to do this, this and this, or, well, we're spending this. You just have to live, eat, breathe, sleep, dream, everything, your business, especially for those first sort of 24 months, I believe. So I don't think there's any sort of rule book. I think everybody's going to run their business differently, but that's what makes business so special. I could tell you the blueprint of running 281, but that's not going to potentially make your 281 the same. It's just, I think business is so personal.
Yeah, definitely. Because I was reading it's a book called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, and it was talking about almost everyone. This is going to sound really horrible, but almost everyone's going to fail. It's just you just got to push through it, and you've just got to keep on going. Because I think that's when most people give up. They hit their first hurdle and go, "Oh, actually, it's not working." And I think you've just got to keep going. Of
course, and like even you think about like back in school when we were at school. Like winning was good, failing was bad, wasn't it? And like then it kind of changed as the whole thing of like actually coming second or third, or it's the taking part that counts. Actually, in business, what you've got to remember is the journey, not the destination. Because you get to that destination, you're going to swear then, I'm not going to, but you're buggered. If you get to the destination, you're going to be buggered, because you're going to get to that situation where you're like, now what then? And that's where you actually see a lot of people that have done really well and they're really successful and they've got loads of money behind them, but actually they're really unhappy, because all they focused on is getting to that destination. For me, it is so amazing to have sort of every day I get to wake up and I love doing what I'm doing. Every day I get to the point where I'm like, I don't know what challenge I'm going to face today. I mean, who'd have thought we'd be going through a global pandemic right now?
Yeah,
where
exactly.
We'll be open my studio. Like, that's a massive challenge, but you learn and you face it. Some people have curled up in a ball and crumbled. Other people have learned and faced it and, you know, turn into the face of adversity and just get on with it, really, and just try and marry on. So yeah, I think, I agree with that. I think it's the case of just feel it and do it. Like, ride that wave, because you're going to sit there otherwise and just be like, oh, what would have happened if I'd have tried a little bit harder?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I agree. Like I had my first show on the BBC, went really, really well. They loved it. And then I had my second show all planned, ready, prepped to go. And that's when the country entered lockdown. And I was so gutted. Like, you wouldn't believe how gutted I was.
No, I can imagine.
And I think I'm not going to be completely honest. And I was ready to like give up and go, right, I'm going to throw all the papers. But like you just said, you've got to keep going. You've got to keep pushing. And I am where I am now because of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always think giving up's the easy option.
Yeah.
Like, giving up's like, oh, well, can't be bothered anymore. Like, that's easy. Yeah. Actually waking up one day and thinking, right, so plan A didn't work. What's plan B? What's plan C? That's magic, really. I mean, like, just revert back to 3 months when we actually went into lockdown. I had, right, because obviously the studio was, what's going to happen if the studio closes? I had A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H.
Just ready.
No joke. Because I was like,
that's the thing. I believe you.
Because I was like, you know, okay, so plan A is we just crack on. Plan B, we reduce classes. Plan C, we reduce classes even more. Plan D, we'll go outside. Plan E, we'll go outside and be smaller. Plan F, we'll go online. Plan G, we'll do, and it got to plan H in a week. And I was like, thank God I was prepped, because that's it, isn't it? Like, also as well, business isn't all roses as well. Like, I think people sit there and think, oh my God, you run your own business. You've got, not just me, but you drive a nice car or you live in a lovely house. Yeah, there's so much loss.
No one. That's what people see, though. That's all they see, and I think social media has a massive part in that, because people love to see the car and the house and the holidays, but no one sees.
I like real.
No one sees like the crying or the doubting or the just like the phone's home going, Mum, I can't do this. Like, Mum, help me. Like, no one sees that. They all see.
Absolutely. My mum is my business partner as well. So, my mum had been in business for years, and they sold the business. And then I was like, right, I'm going to open the studio. And so it gave her a reason to sort of have something to do very differently. And sort of it was almost like that passing the baton from parents being in charge to kind of myself, because my brother has his own business as well, very, very successful in his own right. And I think, watching both of us, my mum and dad have given us they've almost given us the skill set to understand what it looks like to not just get what you want. Like, you have got to graft to get what you want. I went to school with people who, just got bought a car, for example.
Yeah,
or
same here, yeah.
If they wanted a new school bag, they just got it. Or if it was their 18th birthday, they got thousands of pounds, It was really easy. And I'd sit there, and my mum and dad did great, but they didn't make things easy for us. On my 17th birthday, I was ready with my little £1,000 I'd saved up through everything to buy my first little banger of a car. And I'm so grateful that they've done that, because it now makes me appreciate what you have to do to get there. And I think the people that have been brought up like that, you actually find they go further, because that resilience means that they can handle a little bit more. They've not just been wrapped in cotton wool and told, oh, here you go, this is okay, you'll get through this. It's hardcore.
Yeah. So it sounds like you've got a good relationship with failure. Was that safe to say? No, not in a horrible way, but like, yeah.
I think, it's difficult, isn't it? Because people are like, what's your biggest failure? And I'm always like, I don't really know, because I don't really see anything as a failure. I kind of see things as like, oh shit, that didn't work. Right, how are we going to make this work? I sometimes look back at my 3-year journey and I think, oh my God, I wish I'd have done like a 30-second synopsis of every week that I've kind of, been through, because there's been a highs and lows, and people leave, people go, you cry over people that are leaving you or whatever. But bottom line is, that's part of your story, isn't it? So failure, this is going to sound so cliche, but there's a Beyoncé quote that says, you can have 24 hours to cry about it, then the next day you've got to get up, put your crown on, crack on again.
Yeah.
And I am so about that. I have 24 hours where I have a massive meltdown. My boyfriend and my parents are like, right, go on a ride. Do whatever you've got to do, go and cry into the pillows, or they'll do that whole little head tap thing, like, here, it's okay. And then the next day I'm like, I've done it, got a plan, I've done this. So I think I thrive off of failure, if that makes sense. I think that's not that I try for failure, but failure takes you to some places where deep down, I was going to swear again there, but you think you've got to make this work, like, that big F word. There's no reason for this not to work now. How the hell am I going to make it work? And I always find that in moments of failure, and I do failure in those little bracket things because I don't believe in actually calling it failure, in moments of hardship, you come out so much stronger. In moments of where you've got to really wrap down to that entrepreneurship and you've got to really think about, that's when I think that your heart comes into play. Because if you were driven by your head, you want to cry, you want to give up, but your heart's like, you can't do that. You've got to keep going. Like, let's find a way around this. And actually, some of my best decisions have been made on the back of failure, if that makes sense. Because I think that's where your adrenaline is like, this means everything to you. How are you going to come back from a £1,000 loss, or how are you going to come back from that person leaving and replacing them like that, or something like that, So yeah, I think maybe thriving. I like the whole quote of like, it's time to thrive, not just survive. So I think it's a case of when you do sort of go through those time periods, how are you going to actually come out thriving rather than just saying you got through it?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. I think like
in everything.
I totally agree. I think, and it took me a long time to realize this, and I think it comes with age and experience, but I've sort of had the mindset where I've never lost in my life. I've either won, which is amazing, or I've learned from it. So I've always, and again, it's just finding that line. And I said earlier that I kind of like failure, but when you're in the failure, it's horrible.
Oh,
it's ridiculous. Yeah. But it's only when you come out of it and go, oh, actually, I learned X, or I learned Y, or I learned Z.
And actually, without sounding all hippie and going like to a tree hugger sort of universe element, I do really believe that there's something in that. Like, if you were to run everything by textbook, would you have experienced that? No, of course you wouldn't have.
Yeah.
And that's when I say, like, so the way our business works is all the PTs that partner with our studio are self-employed. They pay a rent to use our facilities. They sort of pay a rent to have that mentorship from myself, but they do not work for me. They work with me. And I think something that I've seen in the PTs that have failed or have given up and have maybe not been able to get through, they don't have that. They don't have that resilience to just crack on and get on with it. They plan. They talk about it. They look into it. They research into it. But they don't do it. Like, you can't become a successful, let's just use like a go-kart racer. You're not going to become a successful go-kart racer if you don't actually do the go-kart racing, are you? You can read it, watch it, talk about it, learn about it, but you've got to do it. And that's the same with running a business. You're not going to get good at anything unless you actually just do it. Like, I'm so dyslexic, it's funny. Like, when I read signs,
oh, am I?
dyslexic.
Same,
It's awful. Like, when I used to be a teacher and I used to obviously have to like write on the board and stuff, I'd be like, right, Bob, you come and write the words up, because I'd be like, oh, I don't know how to spell it.
No idea.
And in business, there's bits like, you know, accounting, spreadsheets, writing emails to people. I'm like, oh my god, okay, this is where my downfall is. But you know, for me, I think that kind of struggle with all of that just comes to the fact, just do it, like, get on with it. What, I'm going to cry about it and not be able to do that. So kind of go back to the point of the fact that I think a lot of people fail in businesses because they actually don't just do it and they don't just try, and actually maybe their heart's not in it. It's easier for them to go and work for someone and get 20 grand less a year than to kind of stuff it out and get 30 grand less that first year, but then be getting that extras as they go forward. And also, nothing's born overnight, is it? You can't expect to just open up a book and be like, come to my bookshop, and then all of a sudden you've got thousands of people queuing.
It doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't at all. And people that think that is, I think they're deluded. Absolutely deluded.
Massively, So like the business world and the fitness world are both like really male orientated. So what's your experiences of as being like a female in those environments? Has it been positive? Has it been negative? What's it been like?
I think it's been either, really. I think so. Growing up, as well as dancing, I actually played golf to a really high level. So I had a handicap of 5, and I was actually training in the England team. So I was in another very male dominant area in terms of golf. So, you know, in my golf club, I was the one of 2 girls in a junior group of 86. So it was, you know, a 1 in 86 chance I was going to get drawn to play with a girl. So I think I learned quite quickly, actually, that, take this the right way without it sounding sexist, but boys, they're all front. Like, they're no different. Like, as a young kid, you're just the same. Like, your skill is the same. End of. The problem is that women have to earn respect more than men, for me personally, in the industry. So you walk into a gym as a male and you start setting up a business, people go, oh yeah, bro, wicked, yeah, I'll come lift some weights with you, we'll do some bicep curls, sick, yeah, cool.
That's a great impression of a guy, by the way.
Thank you. We'll do chest day and we'll do like some push days and stuff like that. You walk in as a girl, they're like, oh, are you going to go and stand on the treadmill? And I was thinking, whew, okay, let them go. And actually, it was really interesting because a year into my job, when I was working out of a different gym, one of the boys that worked there actually came up to me and he was like, fair play. And I was like, sorry? And he was like, fair play. For the last year, you've put your head down. You've just cracked on with it. You've not got involved in trying to be one of the boys. You've not got involved in trying to, you know, make your business work for the boys. You've just cracked on and you've just been a woman. You've worked with women, which none of us in this gym have ever seen before, and you've made it work. So does being a female or a male really matter? I don't think it does. Like, I don't think it makes any difference. I just think society takes a little bit longer to accept an idea from a female in a man's world. You know, so in fitness, it just took a little bit longer to gain that respect. In business, it's like, oh, can you know, is your dad coming to the meeting? And to begin with, yeah, he did, because, you know, it's difficult. My landlord's a man, you know, everyone is a man, aren't they? So yeah, he did come to it, but actually very quickly realised the business isn't my dad, it's me. So I think for any female that wants to kind of get into that, have a male support system just to kind of forefront the barriers you're going to see to begin with, but then quickly smash them down as well, because they'll quickly realise that actually your dad's sitting there to support you, not the other way around. And I've had run-ins with men because they get very jealous of the fact that they can't do what we can do as women, in the same way as potentially I've looked at it and gone, oh God, if I was a man, would I be able to do that? Yeah, of course. It's the way we're made, isn't it? It's different. Certain women don't like training with women because they think it's going to be easier. Certain men don't like training with men because they get intimidated. So I think in business, fitness, whatever, there's enough business, there's enough of everything to go around for everybody. I don't think you've got to worry about being a girl or being a boy in a certain industry.
Yeah, no, so, I think you saying that is, one, I think I admire you a lot. And the second thing, I think I don't know if you probably do, maybe you don't, but you're an inspiration to the local community in doing what you're doing and going out there and, you know, chasing your goals and smashing them and just doing what you want to do, not what anyone else wants to do.
Oh, thank you.
So that's a massive inspiration. So in terms of like yourself, what do you like to do? What's your aspirations? Because I know you've run a marathon as well.
Yeah, I ran 3.
Yeah.
I think when you own a business, and I mean, you've got to remember, my business was a hobby. So teaching some aerobics classes was a hobby to earn some money whilst I was dancing. It very quickly became my job. But then if your job's your passion, it's very difficult to kind of distinguish between where your ambition stops, where your personal life stops, and where your business stops. And I think actually if people can say that they've managed to kind of crack that work-life balance, then they're lying. Because you know, you run a business, your phone rings, it doesn't matter if you're in the middle of the best training run of your life, you're going to go and save your business, aren't you? End of. And you know, I have a running coach, so basically to answer your question, I run. But I think for me, running for me is because it's the only thing that I can do. I don't need anybody else to do it. I don't have to rely on anybody else. It doesn't matter if I'm good or bad or whatever. The only person I'm against is myself. I can train it around everything. I do now have a running coach who, you know, because I really want to, my next marathon, well, it was meant to be London this year, but
in April,
I don't know whether it's going to be happening in October, but let's hope it does, but whatever. So I employed a running coach for myself, because I just do think as well, a lot of us coaches can get very wrapped up in thinking we know a lot of it, which we do. But have I got someone, I can't be on my own back saying, no, come on, get out of bed and get it done. Whereas that's what you pay a coach for, isn't it? And I just think I have 200 and something people that pay my business to do that. So I should kind of appreciate and respect the service enough to do the same. So I have a running coach. And actually, since lockdown, there's been a few weeks where business has had to come first. And I had to have a really difficult conversation to him and say, I know this is my passion, and I know that you can't see the difference of that. But right now, you have to understand, no matter what happens, even if, I don't know, it's someone's birthday, my business comes first. Always, because
you've done that with me, though. You've done that with me, because you done that with me. Like we were meant to record yesterday, and I completely understand. And then we were meant to do it an hour before, and you know, I understand because you're busy. Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Absolutely. And actually, if it doesn't, then I don't think you're very good at your business. Because if you're willing to kind of, I know we have to be self-care, and I know we have to make time for ourselves, and I know we have to be, we're no good if we're pouring for an empty cup and all the rest of it. But how do you not know that person that you've just turned down because you've been selfish with your time because you need to train, how do you not know that person's not going to open the door for you in 5 years' time to some massive opportunity? And it could have been that them remembering that you've dropped that for them. I don't know. I just
I think what it is balance. Like it's not like if you work all the time and just do it and do it and do it, you'll burn out. Let's be honest. But at the same time, if you go out all the time, go drinking, then obviously that's not a good thing as well. So you have to find the balance and the happy medium between the two.
You do, and I think for me as well, I think, you know, training is your question was, what are your ambitions? My ambitions, my top 10 of what I'd want to achieve a business. Like, so actually, when I'm sitting there saying, oh, I really want to go on holiday here, like that's, yeah, of course that's one of my ambitions, but is it on the top priority list? No, because those other ambitions are going to make it easier for me to do those lovely things later in life. I just think we're never going to have those selfish years of being 20 something or early 30s again, where you've not got children or that many responsibilities. So I just think it's a case of, yes, be selfish, but also be selfish to the business side of you as well, which means that actually you do have to sometimes neglect family, partners, friends to do what you've got to do, because then you'll have so much more reward from that later down the line.
Yeah.
Personally.
No, I agree, because I've had situations where my mum's like, oh, we've got this wedding or this birthday party, and I'll be like, oh, I've got this edit that I need to do, or this recording I need to do, and it needs to be in for like whenever it needs to be. And I know she loves me, and I know that she is looking out for my best interest, but she goes, oh, but it's your cousin, and it's like, and I feel guilty, like, and it's weird.
Yeah, you do, but I think that also comes, and then I know, like you just said, I know your mum, it's your mum and whatever, but I think you've got to make sure that your circle around you are so supportive.
Yeah, massively. Yeah, you're a product of your environment. Yeah,
of course, and absolutely. Like, my parents are my absolute idols when it comes like that. Like, I had a horrific week yesterday with just everything was going wrong, and I actually sent them a message. I don't live with them now, so I just sent them a text, and I just said, I don't know what happened in my childhood or for the 25 years that I lived with you, but whatever you did has made me so resilient that I can't thank you enough for that. And I think it's a case of, even on our birthdays, they'd go to work, or, you'd see the fact that they'd be like, right, we can't have a holiday this year, for example, because of this, this, and this. But then the next year you'd have two, because they've worked double as hard to ensure that you don't miss out again. So I think, you are a product of your environment, but it also comes down to your friends. It comes down to your partner. Like, your friends, they should be your fans. Like, I absolutely can't stand it when people are like, oh yeah, but then she said this about me, or oh, but then he went and did that. If your friends aren't supporting you, then I don't think they're your friends. Like, my bestest friends I can count on one hand, and each and every one of them is a member of my studio, because they support that, and I am so grateful of that. I look after them in terms of their pricing and everything, but that's true friendship. They're supportive of my industry, they're supportive of my goals. Just like one of my best friends is a hairdresser, I would never go anywhere else other than her, because I would support her. That's her dream and that's her thing. So friends is really important, and then partner as well. I could write a book about the funny things that I've experienced, but you've got to find someone who gets it, because you go home to them or you spend a lot of time with them, if they don't get it, it's not going to work. My boyfriend at the moment is his business is going crazy, and he can't keep up, and for the last sort of 3 to 4 weeks he's been in a position where he's been reworking his website on his own, finding new premises, doing all these amazing things. And as a partner, it's my turn to step back and be like, go crack it, I'm here. I'm not going to sit there and cry and say and moan about the fact of that. Of course it's important to spend time together, but it's really important to understand that person that is there supports, gets it, and understands it, the hard times and the good times as well, isn't it? So yeah, I think your support network is massive, and I think that then they understand your ambitions, and it's kind of a full circle, isn't it?
Yeah, hugely. Yeah. So how has the pandemic affected your business? Is it, because you just mentioned earlier about you had a plan A, B, C, D, E? Have you just fully closed down, or have you done online stuff, or what have you been doing?
No, so I have worked every day for lockdown. I haven't had a day off yet.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Obviously, it's been very different to a normal working day, but we took everything that we do face to face. We took it online. So all my PTs and instructors started teaching classes from their homes using, we have a Facebook members group, and they're all in there. So we're teaching sort of 20 classes a week online. PT clients that I do, that's been over FaceTime or over Zoom. Obviously, then we've had to coordinate and support our members. Some of them are self-employed, and their payments their income hasn't been the same, so we've had to alter payments. So you've got people that are struggling mentally, so then you're supporting them because exercise is that outlet. So yeah, literally, I think we're on day 89, aren't we? And I can feel that day 89.
I don't even know what day it is at the moment.
Yeah, literally. So I think we're on day 89 of lockdown or something. But yeah, there's not been a day where I've not done something towards keeping those doors open. And then obviously with the recent lift of being able to get together with with 5 other people. So you included 6 people, including social distancing. We've now taken all our classes to the car park. So thankful for the car park, thankful for the nice weather. And now we stream our classes from the car park with 5 members in tow. So it's been a really emotional move. It's affected my business massively because I've not received any rent from PTs or associate businesses for the last 3 months. Obviously, that we've done that in kind to support them because, as I've said earlier, they are massive parts of our makeup. And, you know, without them, we're just another gym. And without us, they're just another beautician or whatever, for example. So we've done that to support them. So obviously, financially, we've taken a massive loss on that. Financially, we've taken a few losses on clients, but are we here to live to tell the tale? We are so far. So it's just a game of continuing that, isn't it? And everybody's in the same boat at the minute. So I think it's a case of, you know, if exercise is important to you, people are understanding with that and they want to continue. So it's affected us massively. It's affected me mentally in terms of sort of that normal that you'd kind of worked so hard for is no longer there. And some days I wake up and I'm like, I don't know what we're doing today because I don't know what we're going to face. But every day you wake up grateful for the fact that you're still there to live to tell the tale. And I am absolutely sure that for many podcasts to come and for many years to come, when people are like, "Oh, tell the story," I just want to be able to put in that story that we survived COVID and, you know, we're here and from this we did this and this and this. And I think coming out of the other side, we will be stronger because our community will be stronger than ever. And I really do feel that, like, as a country, we've all come to understand that how important our small businesses are as well.
Yeah, hugely,
like actually, your big dogs, your big supermarkets, and all that sort of stuff, they haven't been affected because their cash flow is ridiculous. Whereas your small farmers markets and things like that, everybody's kind of grouped together and supported them. And I just hope it continue. I really want to kind of push that fact of if everybody can take one payment a month that they make to some sort of massive company and change it to a local one, you watch your local area flourish. Like if you normally go for a drink in a chain restaurant every Friday, but you change that to a local bar, you watch that little area of your town absolutely flourish. So I'm really hoping that what we've continued throughout lockdown kind of comes back in waves of gratitude from people around us, and you know, they then can speak to somebody else and says it. So it's all positive movements, isn't it? You've just got to kind of continue at the times, and at the times when you are doing that, it's really hard.
Yeah, hugely. Yeah, I echo those thoughts about supporting local businesses because when the lockdown happened, I started buying like little gift cards, just to like support local business. I've always been like a huge, because it is tough and it is hard, and I've had like close friends who have like rung saying, oh, I can't do this, I don't want, and it is tough and it is hard. But again, like I said earlier, no one sees that. No one ever sees that. So it's a huge
and I think
thing.
The thing is, like, at the minute, obviously, I have a very high majority of my members still paying their membership, which we are massively grateful for. But at the minute, it's like, that's what we're massively grateful for, and that's keeping our doors open. But the minute that starts to drop and dwindle, let's say because let's hope it doesn't, but the minute that starts to drop or dwindle, those doors won't be opening again because the equipment that we've bought extra equipment for, the extra matting for outdoors, the extra PPE and the cleaning material, that's all additional costings, and that's being taken by us. That's not, you know, we're not charging our members an extra 50p every time they come to the car park because they've now got to clean down everything. You know, we've seen a massive increase in pricing on gym equipment, you know, and protective equipment like flooring and things like that. I think the other side of this is going to be very challenging. But the way I look at it and the way I'm going to approach it is just going to approach it with honesty and authenticity, because I can't do anything other than that, can I? So if I have to put the prices up, then here's why we have to do that. It's not to make any more money. It'll be to cover the loss and to cover the additional costs we have to do. And I think every business just needs to be transparent with their customer, really.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I just wanted to so we're nearly at the end of the podcast. I just wanted to ask you 3 questions on the past, present, and future. So We'll start off with the past. What advice would you give a 15-year-old Georgia Testa? What would you say to her?
Oh, just go do it, hun. Just do it, mate. Just do whatever you want. No, I think at 15 I was really fickle. Like, I think I kind of had this dream where I was gonna kind of be this dance teacher, and it was all going to be kind of cushy and easy. But I think that's just being 15, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, honestly, I think if any 15-year-old kind of ever asks me for advice, because you do get it, don't you? You do get the guys that are, oh, what would you have done? I'm just like, just do follow your heart, follow your head, and just never say no. I think at that age, you can be so fickle. Oh no, sorry, I can't work that shift because my friends are doing this. Don't do that. Just crack on, because
Yeah.
yes, your friends, I know those moments with your friends are so powerful, but actually between the ages of like 15 and 19, you're building resilience. You're building, you're building an element of work ethic as well. And the people that I know that I went to school with that were like that are the ones that are absolutely killing it now.
Yeah.
And the ones that maybe were having weekend plans with their friends every weekend and going out Friday, Saturday, and then being really hungover on a Sunday are the ones that are kind of still working out the way. So I think, yeah, for a past, how would I say it? Just go and smash it, and just do it.
You do
Just
you.
literally just do it.
So a question about the present. You have got a dinner party with you and 3 other people. They can be dead or alive, anyone in the world. Who would you invite, and which 3 people would you have?
Okay, so I would invite my nonna, because she'd do all the cooking, and she's amazing at cooking, and she's taught me everything I know about cooking. And
Right.
since moving out and sort of living with my boyfriend and having sort of people in our company, I now get lots of lovely compliments about my cooking, because she lived with me for 4 years, so it was lovely to learn all those things. So definitely my nonna. It really cliche, but for all of the uncliche reasons, I'd have Beyoncé there, because I just think from a female empowerment, she just does not for 1 minute come close to, you can't beat that. Like, yes, she's an incredible singer and all the rest of it, but from a female empowerment way, like, wow, she stands for everything that we know. She's the reason that so many women of diversity have been able to do what they can do. And then the last one,
Everyone always struggles on the last one. So I talked to Sunny and Mickey, that we both know, and they both struggled with the third person.
Well, I kind of, this is going to sound really like cliche, isn't it? I kind of don't, like, because the industry that we're in is so fickle as well. I don't really have a lot of people. Obviously, I have a lot of people that I have a lot of respect for and look up to, but I don't have anybody that I'd want to kind of have dinner with. I think the problem is now everyone's so transparent, aren't they? With social media, it feels like you have dinner with people most weeks anyway.
Yeah.
I'd probably, do you know what? Actually, do you know what? Because my nonna's there, I'd have my granddad there. My granddad passed away 5 years ago, and he was kind of like the king of the family, being an Italian family.
Yeah.
He'd sit in his chair and kind of just grunt, and you'd know what he was after. But he was a man of few words, but very, very heartfelt in terms of, he was very proud of all of us, of what we were doing, and he'd always say that he knew that I was going to be okay, so he must have seen something in me like that. So I think it would probably be nice to have him there, just to kind of say, so what do you think, have I done? Let me know. So yeah, there you go.
So you've got your grandparents, you, and Beyonce.
How cool is that?
That's a great shout. So last one, just to finish off on, this is one about the future. So what do you think you'll be doing in 10 years time? So what do you see yourself doing in 2030?
I'd love to say, like, I'd love to say that I'd be like on a beach somewhere enjoying my life, but I'd probably be doing exactly what I'm doing now, because I wouldn't change it for the world. But I think, the future of myself and business is to just continue to grow. And I think, growth comes more work. So I do probably think that, give another 10 years, my day-to-day kind of doing will probably look very similar, if not a bit different. But we are working really hard at the minute towards a couple of other sister businesses, which are a training academy. So another real big passion of mine is to ensure that every trainer that works within 281 is as good as they possibly can be, because training in the industry is really fickle. It's quite easy to become a PT, but you actually know not a lot. So I'm trying to transform the way that PT training, group exercise, and sort of gym instructor training happens. So we've been working on that for the last 18 months, and that is like this close to happening. So I'm hoping that I'll be working, within that a little bit more. I hope that there'll be more 281s around the country. The dream is to franchise it and sort of additionally add an education centre onto that. So I hope that I'll be maybe popping to my other fellow business, my other fellow studios, and checking out what they look like, and just genuinely being able to look back and think, yeah, you did all right there, you've smashed it. Because I think that's something, isn't it, that in everyday life we're really quick to kind of go, oh, I wish I had this, or I wish I could do this, but you've got to look back and think that I know I do anyway, that there's some days where I think, George, you dreamt of what you have right now.
Yeah.
And that's only a product of hard work, isn't it? So
And also it's
lots
gratitude
of
as
hard
well.
work, and absolutely, absolutely. But we're so quick, aren't we, to jump and be like, oh, I
Yeah.
wish I could do this, or why is this not happening? And you just think, God, 17-year-old you would have been like, one day I really wish I had that, and you've got it. So shut up and get on with it. And just hurry up and get to the next bit. So yeah, so hopefully it looks similar, but enhanced with lots of hard work.
Awesome. I can't think of a perfect way to end. I know you're busy and I know you've got loads of things going on, so I do appreciate you
Thank
taking time
you.
to talk to me.
Not a problem. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Cheers. Thank you.